Greetings, hello, welcome friends. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Cincinnati and our first meeting of 2023. Happy New Year. We've got another great meeting in store. It is delightful to be back in the Hall of Mirrors and with such a full crowd. Our friend Todd Schwartz from the European American Chamber of Commerce is our speaker today. Todd is the executive director of that fine institution, and he's no stranger to Rotary. Longtime member and fantastic singer in the Rotary Chorus. We're very much looking forward to hearing you sing hearing your presentation here today, Todd. We are going to kick off our meeting, as we tend to do, with the national anthem led by Stephanie Sheard and accompanied by Kay Atkins, followed by an invocation from Terry Shearer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank for allowing Rotary Club 17 to come together in fellowship and grace and love, that we can just spread goodwill, not just here in our region, but everywhere throughout the world. Heavenly Father, I'd be remiss if I do not take this moment to just thank you for the mercy that you displayed on Mr. Hamlin as the world watched less than 2 weeks ago, as we watched a man pass away on the football field. But Heavenly Father, you listened to the millions of prayers as we all came together, and you allowed him to just heal. And even though he still has such a journey to go, I trust that you will be with him every step. Heavenly Father, finally, I just want to say thank you for allowing this Rotary Club to be in this fabulous city of Cincinnati, Ohio, as I just watched people come together and quickly understand that it wasn't about a sport, Heavenly Father. It wasn't about colors of a uniform, Heavenly Father. It was about just loving mankind, being there for each other. And then the world joined in and just let you just continue to give praise to Buffalo. So Heavenly Father, let this lesson stay with us even after Mr. Hamlin is 100% healed, because what you allowed us to display is what's going to make this world better forever. Thank you. Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Would it be beneficial to all concerned? God bless you all.
Terry, thank you. Very well said. Stephanie and Kay, great job. Thank you. Now I'd like to ask Director Bill Stilley to introduce our guests and prospective members, followed by a word from our meeting sponsor, Gary Walton.
Once again, good afternoon and welcome to Cincinnati Rotary Club number 17. It is the 17th oldest Rotary Club in the universe. It is also one of the largest clubs in the country, and I might say it is the best. Welcome. As I introduce you as a guest or a prospective member, please stand up so that we might recognize you. Chris Kendall from Kendall Insurance is a guest of King Steve. Did I say King Steve? I meant Steve King. Sorry, King Steve. Darlene Underwood is a guest of Pete Armstrong. Jessany Steritz, for Cooperative for Education, is a guest of Steve King. Jim Cunningham is a guest of Steve King. I keep getting that wrong. DeVoe Sherman from First Generation Leaders of America is a guest of Ed Mathis. Dana O'Brien with the European American Chamber is a guest of Judy Pogue. Alexis Ferguson with Drug Free Clubs of America is a guest of Angela Ferguson. Welcome to Rotary Club 17.
I don't know if you're aware, but I am in charge of the Sergeants at Arms. And this man, didn't he do an outstanding job? So give him a round of applause to Bill. The back table. Sorry, guys, I ran out of folders, but you are the red light table. So I know I'll make you happy. I'll buy each one of you drinks sometime to make up for the fact that you didn't get a card. So I know you'll be happy with that. It gives me great greetings. Great greetings? Gives me great pleasure to give you greetings from the good people of Price Hill. My name is Gary Walton. I'm the founder of the Cincinnati Type and Print Museum located in Price Hill. You said the green button, bud. Oh, that big, 2 green buttons. Hot dog. Museum stands on 3 columns. Number 1, to preserve the history of printing in Cincinnati. 120 years ago, we were the 2nd largest printing center in the world. We're still number 11 today, which is still good. To be a place for artists to come and express themselves with letterpress printing. And letterpress printing is a huge art form now. Artists of all ages are welcome. And third, and the most important part of the museum, I mean, this is the most important part, we change lives for the better. We give second chance people. We started with women, now we do men, and this spring we started working with Cincinnati Public Schools doing youth. We change lives by providing the poor a good career choice that pays a good wage with benefits, and that's how you eliminate poverty. You bring wealth into that community. But today I want to announce 2 things that are going to happen at the museum this spring. 1, we are going to be the first in Cincinnati and the first probably in Ohio, maybe even the first in the Midwest to print on a printing press solar cells, which means solar panels are going to go from $350 to $20. This is going to be a game changer. Just like Gutenberg, when he invented the first press and the first movable type, that changed everything. We got out of medieval times, we got into the church change. This is going to change. You're going to be hearing about climate control. This is going to change climate control when we're able to produce inexpensive solar cell. Your car in the future will just be one big solar panel. You can buy today solar shingles. So shingles that look like shingles, but they're solar cells printed on them. This is the future. If you're the proud owner of an Apple 14, realize 18% of that was printed on a press. So there they are, 50 of them on a press sheet. Everything that's not black was printed. The antenna, the battery, the circuit board, all printed on a press. And this is huge cost savings for manufacturers. And it's going to bring manufacturing back to the United States, which I'm real happy about. Thank you very much. Keep us in your prayers.
Come on down or come on up. Angie, the podium's yours. This is great.
Such a dangerous thing to do is give me a microphone. I know. All right, I am so excited to introduce one of my counterparts at Thomas More University, where I also work in the Institutional Advancement Office. This is Courtney Klyer. She is our Director of Alumni Engagement and a new member to Rotary here. It was one of the first things I asked her when she joined our staff. So I'm going to tell you 10 things to know about Courtney. Number one, she is our leader for alumni engagement. And so she is an alum herself as well. Everything's written as I'm pregnant with my second child, which is not the case. She is pregnant with her second child. That would be news to my husband. She does not like the taste of coffee, which I find odd, but she does love the smell of it. She has a master's degree in international commerce and diplomacy, and having a master's degree in public administration, I get her. I really get her. She just got second place in her county fair last year for her blueberry coffee cake. I don't know if we do bake sales, but bear that in mind. File that one away. She attended the 2018 Doha Forum in Qatar. She has an elderly basset hound. She's got a lot going on at home, you know. And she attended a Kentucky gubernatorial inauguration. She's currently reading a biography on Queen Victoria, and she's had some of her writings published in regional literacy journals, or literary, that's a very key point. So this is Courtney Klyer.
Thank you, John. I was like, I guess I'm going to be doing it all up here. Hey, let's take a picture with Thank you, John.
Cameras everywhere. You never know.
Okay, and now for a word about Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, President nominee Eric Petway.
Thanks, President Steve. So let's talk about what is RILA, why is it important, where is it, and how can you be involved? First, as President Steve said, RILA is the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. It's been a decades-long leadership weekend. It really started in Australia. It's now global. We have the opportunity to send 100 from the Southwest Ohio region to Camp Kern, YMCA Camp Kern. And so it's Friday to Sunday, March 17th and March 19th. I've been the head of the committee for several years. We had a record number of students that went from high schools here locally from Rotary Club of Cincinnati last year. We're sending another 4 this year as well. Why is it important? Because this is an opportunity for students to really do not only hands-on, but also learn from leaders in a classroom setting as well as an outdoor course. And it's a 2-night overnight stay in a leadership environment. As I said, where is it Camp Kern? And how can you become involved? We have sent out requests for applications from 12 separate high schools, which is a record, and we've already gotten feedback from about half that they're sending applications through. If you have any students that are either juniors or sophomores, please contact me and I can send you the application form, a pretty easy 2-page form. And then once we get the applicants in, our committee, which is 7 people, record size again, we'll get together and do virtual screenings and we'll select the 4. One thing to note, Rotary Club of Cincinnati is paying for all 4 to attend. So this is a free to all students, and it's a phenomenal program. If you have any questions about RILA, ask me after the meeting or email or contact me in DACDB. Thanks very much.
Eric, will you just stay here for just one more minute? I just want to recognize Eric for his outstanding chairmanship of the RILA Award. It is a fantastic district-wide Rotary Youth Leadership Award, but it's not why I asked you to stay up here. Is anybody a Business Courier reader? Because there's a Business Courier headline yesterday I want to share with the club. It says, Journey's Eric Petway wins the 2022 Business Courier Stock Contest. Eric Petway, Chief Investment Officer at Covington-based investment management firm Journey Advisory Group, took the title by posting a gain of 25.2% during 2022 for the 5 stocks he selected. Congratulations, Eric. Last I checked, the S&P 500 was down like 19. So that's pretty good outperformance. Yeah, fantastic, buddy. You beat them all out, too. That's great. Number 1.
And first time, so.
Was that your first time? Well, now you need to retire, because that was fantastic. Thank you, Eric. Now for an important announcement about the annual Jefferson Awards, please welcome Allie Hubbard.
Thank you, King Steve. New thing we're trying this year. Yes, I'm here to make an announcement about the Jefferson Award, something that is very near and dear to the Rotary Club. Since 2006, the Rotary Club of Cincinnati has been a local sponsor of this award. Each year, we seek out individuals and organizations in our community who are doing great public and community service work without the expectation of recognition or reward. In our 17 years of leading this effort in Cincinnati, we have sent winners to the national level, the National Jefferson Award celebration. 9 of them to date have returned as national winners against the competition from over 90 communities nationwide. These include organizations like 1 in 5, La Soup, the Free Store Food Bank's Rubber Duck Regatta, Crayons to Computers, Lawn Life, The Cure Starts Now, and last year's winner, Roger Grind with Magnified Giving. As always, we're asking for your help. The Rotary Club of Cincinnati is again joining our co-sponsors, Local 12 and the Cincinnati Enquirer, to find strong candidates for the 2023 Jefferson Award. So let me ask you 2 things. Do you know a unique program that has impacted our community? And do you know someone who is doing exceptional community service? If so, we want to nominate them for this year's award. The deadline to apply is February 10th at 3 p.m., and applications are available online. You can find the link in the latest e-raise and/or reach out to Bill Shula for additional information. The winner will be announced at the Rotary Club meeting on March 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie, and thank you to the Jefferson Award Committee. This is such a fun way to shine a national spotlight on some of our Cincinnati stars. So help Allie find some of those great diamonds in the rough in our community. Sarah Pattison. The office has been through a lot the last couple of weeks. You know, we've been off, but the office has been working overtime, and I thought it would just be nice for us all to hear directly from you as to what you and Christy have been through and how you're still smiling after all of this moving around. So I'll just turn the podium over to you. Yes, please.
Yes, as Steve mentioned, I just wanted to provide an update on the office. So over the holiday break, I received a phone call that we had to evacuate the crew tower immediately. Several pipes had burst, only 1 elevator's working, the sprinkler system's down, so it wasn't safe. So I'm very happy to report, as of last night, we are 99.99% moved out of our office space at the crew tower. None of that would have been possible without Owen Rassman. Not only did he spend all day Tuesday and Wednesday helping us move, working with the movers, but he gave us every square inch of storage space he had to store all of our Rotary stuff. So again, thank you, Owen. I couldn't have done this without you. I would also like to thank Bob McElroy. He helped Owen on Tuesday. Big shout out to Christy. This is not how we expected to spend the start of the year. So Christy has worked hard because it was just important to get us out there as soon as possible, as it was no longer safe. So what's next? As you might have remembered, over the summer, Christy and I spent about 2-3 months doing a work from home trial period. So we are fully functioning to work from home. Same office number, same everything, but we are exploring short-term and long-term opportunities, and as those come to fruition, I will update the club. And with that, I wanted to let you all know that the Hilton does not have room for us next week, so we're at the Phoenix. I know you guys went there quite a while ago, but we'll be doing a road show there. And their catering likes to have their final numbers in a week before. So you may have noticed you got the RSVP email this morning. You normally get that Sunday mornings. You got it today. RSVPs have to be in tomorrow by 5. I have to give the Phoenix the final count by tomorrow at 5. And I just want to thank you all for your patience. Christy and I might not have been responding to emails as quickly as you're used to, so thank you. We've been knee-deep in moving boxes and movers, and again, just thank you all and Happy New Year.
I think we all owe Christy and Sarah an extra big round of applause. Christy says it was all smoke and mirrors, that she's here today. I think the bruises and the sore muscles, you know. Well, I want to especially appreciate Sarah and Christy's ability to pivot and to adjust. It's an unsafe environment, and it's not easy to have that happen in the middle of your work week. And they got the movers, and they got the help with Owen, and made it happen. So thank you for carrying on, office staff. Turning to some announcements. I think we had a few birthdays to recognize. Today, Andy Magenheim. Happy birthday. Drew, Arnold, Matt, Tanya, Esteban. Esteban's here. You got a birthday coming up. Win, you got a birthday. Happy birthday, Win. Split the pot. So the split the pot is getting interesting. You know, it starts off kind of, oh, it's just $80, $50. Well, today's winner gets $60, but the revolving pot is up to $1,108. Hey, nothing up my sleeve. That's right. Nothing up the sleeve, not slipping any blue tickets in there. There you go. All right, mister. All right, I see the last 4 digits as 4142. And $60 goes to the winner, 4142, and if you're a Rotarian, you get a chance to draw. Do I see a winner? Oh, you can't be lucky 2 times in 1 week, mister. I guess we're going to know how you're going to invest your winnings. You need to buy a Mega Millions ticket. If he pulls the Queen of Hearts, I don't know what we're going to do. I think... Oh, so close. Not this time. So close. All right. Couple of additional announcements. Red Light Holiday Party. You red light table, you got a party coming up. The annual holiday party, sponsored by the Red Light Table, will be held on Saturday, January 21st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Brian Vielhauer, you're going to close down that party at 8:30 p.m.? All right. Brian says you can't, it doesn't have to end, but you can't stay there. Now, it's going to be at the Metropolitan Club in Covington. Join us for celebrating the holidays and the start of the new year with food, fun, and fellowship. Cost is just $25 per person. RSVP in DACDB. That's right. Our hands-on service project, Ronald McDonald Dinner Service. Now, this is kind of timely. Next Tuesday, January 17th, we need 8 to 10 volunteers to serve dinner at the Ronald McDonald House, starting at 4 p.m. All participants must be at least 16 years old, but family and kids are welcome. If you'd like to volunteer, see the project captain, Carol Cerrone. Carol, can you wave your hand? Carol's over there in the corner. Because of the timeliness of this, we need registrations right to Carol and not on DACDB. So say, Carol, I'm good for that, and let's make that happen. All right, next announcement is join Cincinnati Rotarians in Guatemala. There's a one-day only opportunity. Thanks to new member Jessica Stieritz, or she just put her application in, but Jessica Stieritz is put her application in to be a brand new Cincinnati Rotarian, and she and Ariel and Hux Miller are going to Guatemala in February, and I'm going to tell you the dates. February 21st through 26th on a snapshot tour of the Cincinnati-based Guatemalan Literacy Project and Cooperative for Education. So Cooperative for Education, Guatemalan Literacy Project are both based here in town. This is an opportunity for a life-changing experience in our own backyard. The World Affairs Committee would like to find a project in this hemisphere. The Guatemalan Literacy Project is one of the premier projects of Rotary International. In fact, I was learning today that President Jennifer Jones of Rotary International is actually visiting the Guatemalan Literacy Project earlier in February. If you've never been on an international service project, this will give you a taste and demonstrate why such work is so inspiring. Give Hux and Ariel a call for more information to sign up. I learned that the window is closing. As you might imagine, February 21st is not that far away. If you are seriously interested about participating and going on site to the Guatemalan Literacy Project with Hux and Ariel, there is a shrinking window, one day only. So speak with Ariel and Hux today, and we can still, or Jessica. All right, Jessica, you can make it happen too. All right, well, thank you for making that window stay open just long enough for this announcement, because it would be inspiring to get a team of Cincinnati Rotarians on site. All right, family of Rotary News. We'll say congratulations to Rotarian Jim Brooks on the addition of his son-in-law, Jake. His daughter, Alyssa, married him on New Year's Eve. I believe, Jim, are you here? The reception was here at the Hilton? It was at the Plaza? Urban Artifacts? I got that wrong. Sorry, my friend. Well, still, New Year's Eve, congratulations. And in sadder news, keep the Autry family in your prayers as Tony's aunt passed away suddenly last Saturday on the 7th. She was 91 and surrounded by family. The funeral will be held January 21st at the Walker Funeral Homes from 10 to noon. Why don't I turn the program now over to Judy Pogue to introduce Todd Schwartz.
So it's so exciting to hear everything we have going on, and I can't imagine, Sarah, how many boxes you had to pack. So congratulations to you and Christy for getting that done. I am honored and excited to introduce our speaker today. Todd Schwartz became the executive director of the European American Chamber of Commerce in Greater Cincinnati in January of 2017. The European American Chamber of Commerce's mission is to stimulate business and networking relations between the Cincinnati tri-state region and Europe. As such, it is a uniquely European American network of active business leaders that create interactive opportunities to add value to its members in addition to the over 100 member companies and organizations of the Cincinnati Chamber. And I really encourage you to go to some of their upcoming networking events, because if you visit their website, you'll see there are many opportunities for you to get involved, and you'd be very welcomed. Prior to joining the European American Chamber, Todd spent 28 years as a U.S. diplomat with the U.S. Foreign Service at the Department of State. During his assignment, he visited Germany, Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, Qatar, the Philippines, Kuwait, Canada, and Washington, D.C. He worked tirelessly to promote the interests of U.S. business and to advance U.S. economic priorities around the world. Todd had received his B.S. of Business Economics from the Richard Farmer School of Business at Miami University. He is married to Nancy and has 4 adult children. Many of you probably recognize Todd because he was a member of our Rotary group here. So without further ado, Todd.
thank you so much, Judy, for the kind introduction. I appreciate it, and thank you, Rotarians, for inviting me back, and especially for your first meeting of the year. I mean, it's a great honor. Clearly, you guys have a great year ahead. It's only going to go up from here, I'm sure. I want to recognize again, Judy, thank you very much, and one of our members. I know there's a couple other members from Thomas More. We've got an event coming up. Hi, Courtney, nice to see you. Courtney used to run the Nikita group with Chamber of Commerce, and we work very closely with them. I also want to recognize and thank my friend Dana. Dana is our Director for Operations and Member Services. My other employee unfortunately had a commitment. We're just a very small staff of 3. That's just me and Dana and Claudia, who runs our events and projects. She couldn't make it today, but we're very proud of the work that we do in this community, and I'm proud of the team that we have. So, honest question. And for those of you who've heard me speak before, this isn't fair, but how many of you knew that there was a European American Chamber of Commerce in Cincinnati? Okay, how many of you knew because I was part of this club previously? Okay. Okay, how many of you is like, wait a minute, there's a European American Chamber of Commerce in Cincinnati? Yeah, thank you very much, thank you. That leads to, and for those of you, anybody recognize the fact that we have signage out at CVG Airport? Okay, yeah, so when next time you go out, fly out through CVG, look for the EACC signage out there at the airport. But that question about, how many of you know we're here, it leads really to my first question, which is, wait a minute, big green button. That one? That one. There we go. Which leads to, the first thing I want to talk about. Why is there a European American Chamber of Commerce in Cincinnati? Because again, if you don't know that we're here, even if you know we're here, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, why? And the answer is, look, there's nearly 250 European companies that operate in and around this region. Some of the names you may not recognize them necessarily as European, but you've got companies like EssilorLuxottica, you've got Safran, Mubia, Festo. You see that Festo sign every time you drive up to Kings Island. ThyssenKrupp Bilstein, which made the shock absorbers that Elon Musk shot up into space on that Tesla Roadster years ago. I mean, they made it right here in Hamilton, Ohio, for God's sakes. So, you've got those companies. You've got smaller companies that you probably haven't heard of, companies like ABM Drives, Dietsch. You mentioned printing, Eurostampa. Where's my printer? Eurostampa, making, high-end labels for your bourbon bottles. Arcu, which makes, metal processing equipment, some of these smaller companies. But all together, those big companies and those small companies, direct employment of 38,000 plus people in our region. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of people that have jobs. Now, that's just the European companies that are operating here. On top of that, you've got all the different U.S. companies that are doing business in Europe or with Europe. Of course, you think about Procter & Gamble and General Electric, but Meyer Tool, Rheinstahl, Lion Group, Crown Plastics, Furno Washington up in Wilmington. All of those companies with all the jobs that they're creating in this region. And then those are 2 big chunks of our membership. And then the third big chunk of our membership is those firms, those organizations that support that trade. So companies that realtors and relocation experts like Judy that help European executives who want to come here find a house and find a school. Thomas More University that's educating students to provide skilled workers and skilled employees and executives that can support those companies, the banks, the law firms, the consultants, the accountants. All of those come together in this ecosystem to support that trade and that investment, which is just so vital to our region's economy. We were established in 2007 because of the European businesses that were operating here at that time. And of course, those numbers just continue to grow. So again, continuing on the question of, so why is there an EACC? What's the economic impact? I talk about these jobs. In 2021, Department of Commerce statistics, the value of the goods exported from this region, leaving aside services and all the other things, just the value of goods to the world was $23.2 billion. That's 15% of the total gross domestic product of this region. 15% of our economy, 1/6 of our economy, comes from international trade, comes from international business. Cincinnati, this is my favorite statistic. Cincinnati is the 19th largest
metropolitan statistical area in the United States when you rank them by dollar value of exports. Indianapolis is 30th, Louisville is 35th, Cleveland is 41. We have nothing to be ashamed about when it comes to our economic performance and trade. And most importantly, and this is the one's my favorite, so we're 19th in the dollar value of exports. We're 30th by population. So we're punching well above our weight. If we had more people, we'd probably be further up those statistics. So why is there an EACC? That's why. Because the European investment in this region, that is driving innovation, that is driving job creation, is vital for our region. And bringing those companies together to support them through the networks that we create it's really, really important. And the companies that are part of our organization recognize that. Keep those numbers in mind. The next time you're listening to NPR, you're watching the news, you pick up the Business Courier and you see an article about trade policy, you see an article about tariffs, and you go, oh, God, it's terribly boring. It is, trust me. I mean, I used to work on trade policy issues. It is terribly boring. But keep it in mind, for many companies in this region, that is the difference between whether they're going to make an investment or not, whether they're going to buy that new machine or not, whether they're going to hire that new employee or not. So that's why there is an EACC. So what do we do? What's the mission? What's the goal? Judy's already said, we're about stimulating business and networking relationships between the Cincinnati tri-state region and Europe. And we're really proud of our sort of tri-state region. I've got members in Kentucky, members in Indiana, members all the way up into Dayton in Ohio. And it's a great mission statement. I love it, but it's a little vague. What do we do? What do we really do? We connect. We're connectors. We are about connecting our members to the information, the resources, and the people that can help them do better business. That's at the heart of it, what we do. And I'll come back to that in a little more, but let me just kind of highlight a couple of the key events that we do. Our focus is to create events and spaces and opportunities where executives and employees and leaders who operate and work in this European American business space, this transatlantic business space, we create opportunities for them to connect both to our organization, to each other, and again to the information and the resources that help them do better business. So you'll see there, and I'll go through these, we've got some of our signature events. Our signature events are big things. We do an annual gala every year in May 2022. We hosted the Swedish ambassador to the United States, Karen Olofsdotter, at Music Hall. It was wonderful. They had the Grand Wurlitzer out. We played the Swedish national anthem on the Grand Wurlitzer. She was delighted. I was delighted too. That was a hoot. That was a great time. And so we do those annual galas and bringing European ambassadors here to help them see this region and understand what we do. We've had the Italian ambassador, the European Union ambassador, the Dutch ambassador. Who am I missing? Germany, yes. Yeah, we had the German ambassador here, which was nice. And we're working on plans for our 23 gala now, but that usually happens in May. Then in November every year, we do a celebration called Beaujolais Nouveau. It's another one of our big celebrations. The picture there is of our board members connecting here in the Pavilion Ballroom at the Netherland Plaza. It's a celebration of our connections. It's a big cocktail party. It's a hoot. It's a lovely time. And Beaujolais Nouveau, it's a French wine. Yeah. It's this year, it wasn't that great. Last year, the Beaujolais was really good. It's new wine. That's technically what it means. Not technically, it's exactly what it means. Other events. So those are our big signature events. We have some other networking events that we do. One of my favorites is our Stammtisch. Stammtisch is a German word. It means kind of regulars table. It's an opportunity to drink beer and connect. We do that at the Hofbrauhaus, usually the first Thursday of every month. We'll be there. We'll be there the second, right? Join us. Come join us at the Hofbrauhaus, February 2nd at Hofbrauhaus from 5:30 to 7:30. We do ask you to register just so that we can get you a name tag. But there's no speeches and there's no presentations. The highlight of Snom Tish is when I stand up on a chair and take a picture like that and make everybody look at me. Another one of our, and we have our Dayton Snom Tish as well. We just launched because, again, we continue to attract more investors and more businesses from the Dayton region, so we do a Snom Tish up in Dayton, Ohio. The next one will be next week on the 17th. So if you're interested, let me know. We'll get you the details. Another one of the events that we started that wasn't as alcohol-centric, we started an event called Coffee and Commerce. It is a direct theft of the intellectual property of the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce and their Eggs and Issues title. We do Coffee and Commerce. We invite business leaders to come and speak. So here we are in June. We were at Fifth Third Bank with Mayor Puraval. And the next time we meet with our Coffee and Commerce will be next Wednesday at Thomas More University, and we'll be hearing from one of their instructors talking about cross-cultural communication. So that's very exciting. Great event. Some of the other events, we do peer events. We do dinners for chief X-off. We got CXO dinners. There might be a CEO, CHRO, CFO, CIO, so forth and so on. These are private dinners. We do. We also have round tables for CEOs of companies or CFOs, HR executives, et cetera. To be able to connect with each other in a safe space, just to share ideas, to grow their professional networks. Sometimes it's just commiserating. I mean, after one of our meetings, I remember somebody who was recently moved into a general manager / CEO position saying, I'm just so grateful to hear that I'm not the only one that faces this kind of issue, and then build those kind of connections. So we do those with these CXO dinners, with these roundtables. We have a young professionals group that's very important to our organization that Dana actually helps us to run. It's an opportunity, particularly for young executives, young professionals, to connect to more seasoned professionals and gain what we call executive insights from them. But it's also about helping them build their professional networks. And it has the added benefit of reminding young professionals that there's no reason to go to Chicago or to go to New York or go to LA to have an international career. How many European companies operate in here? 250 European companies. You want an international career? Stay here. Are you hearing me? Stay here. Don't go. One of the other things that we've just restarted, we've done a few of these before I came on board in 2017, but we started traveling to Europe. So in June this past year, we took a business development trip to Italy. We took about 13, 14 people with us. We had business meetings in Milan. We had partnerships with Jobs Ohio, so they helped host us a reception, which is that bottom left corner. There in the middle, we are arriving on the train in Milan. On the top right, you'll see we had a meeting and a reception with the Florence Chamber of Commerce in Florence, Italy. We did a business development and investment conference in Modena, which is the headquarters of the Modula companies. You've seen Modula. They bought that old Dayton Daily News building up in Franklin, Ohio. It's now the Modula building. Don't call it the old Dayton Daily News building. They don't like that anymore. It's the Modula building. And the CEO of that company is my board vice president this year. So really happy with that. So that was the business development trip we took to Italy last year. We're planning another trip. We're going to France this year. We're going to be in Normandy. We're going to be in Clermont-Ferrand, which is the headquarters of Michelin. We're going to be working with a company that has operations here in Blue Ash called Add Up, very innovative additive manufacturing technologies. We're going to be working in Paris. Again, we're working with Jobs Ohio to promote that. So we're very excited about it. And if you really wanted to go, I still might be able to squeeze you in, although we're pretty happy with the delegation that we've got. Last thing, just I mentioned, we have network events. We are part of a network. We didn't mention that in the introduction, but the EACC, the Cincinnati chapter, we were the first U.S. chapter, but we belong to an organization that's based out of Paris. So there's a Paris chapter. There's a Lyon, France chapter. There's an Amsterdam chapter. We're working to launch a new chapter in Italy. There's a chapter in New York, the Carolinas, Florida, and Texas. So we continue to work, and we use that network, especially during the pandemic, to do webinars so we can continue to provide programming and information and engagement. So there's just a couple of examples of some of the webinars. We even have our own YouTube channel. So you can go on our YouTube channel and see some of the webinars that we did. But I just want to give a little bit of a deeper dive when I talk about these kind of programs. What are we doing? What's the focus? Why? What's the engagement? In 2023, we've identified a program theme as workforce and talent development. How many of you are having a hard time finding workforce? Yeah, exactly. Skilled labor and so forth. I mean, again, this is why we need work like this. Absolutely vital. We want to help our member companies especially, need skilled labor, and they need skilled executives as well. So how do you attract, how do you train, and how do you retain the skilled labor and the qualified talent that helps your companies grow? European companies here especially face some unique challenges because, of course, their approach to HR is different. Their management systems for some of this stuff are very different. The first thing they ask is, wait a minute, I have to pay for health care? Are you out of your mind? That's insane. So they face unique challenges. And so we're uniquely, again, there's plenty of folks that do workforce development. We work in this very interesting space with European and American companies. So we have this partnership with the University of Cincinnati to help companies penetrate the bureaucracy. I love UC. It's a remarkable partner. We talk about how important they are for our region as a source of talent. But if you're the HR director for your company and you're also running the shipping department, you may not know how to get into the handshake system and set up all your arrangements and then have all the job descriptions ready to go for the job fair and so forth and so on. We want to be a bridge to that and help our companies more equitably and more frankly access the opportunities the University of Cincinnati offers. We're going to do similar program with Butler Tech. We're doing programmings with Sinclair, with Cincinnati State. We're doing our Coffee and Commerce, as I mentioned, on the 28th, looking at cross-cultural communication with Thomas More. We're working on our program on February 15th, another Coffee and Commerce with Duke Energy about the work that they're doing on workforce development. And again, it's all about helping companies do better business, because the goal of this kind of programming, it's this virtuous cycle. We need to make sure that our members have access to the people who have the skills and the talent that can help them grow their business. And that, if there's more opportunities here, then it helps young people decide that they want to stay here. It helps us to attract more talent from other regions. And if we have more talent staying in this region, then that enables companies to grow. It's a very virtuous cycle. So again, it's really, really important work. Last thing, I'll just finish with our secret sauce. So, what makes us different from what other chambers do, from what other kind of programs that happen here? We did a voice of the customer study, and we identified kind of these three elements of our brand. First of all, again, is that European American focus. Everything we do, every program that we develop, we look at what's the European American angle to this. Even if we're doing something as simple about health insurance, which the Northern Kentucky Chamber can do, Cincinnati Chamber, the Westchester Chamber can do. We have to address it from why is the European American Chamber doing this? What's the specific information that our members want to know about that? That's one of the elements that makes us unique. We have a sort of a laser-like focus on small and medium-sized companies. I'm very happy that Procter & Gamble is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, the European American Chamber of Commerce. I don't do a lot with Procter & Gamble because it's not like I can do a lot for them. Our membership, for the most part, is what in Germany they would refer to as the Mittelstand. It's those small and medium-sized family companies that are supporting and supplying larger companies, that are supporting Procter & Gamble, that are supporting GM, and so forth and so on. And those are the companies where we really have a focus and can provide them with assistance, because again, they don't have that deep resource base of, let's say, 60 HR folks who can go to recruiting and so forth. So that's sort of the other element of it. And then the final element is personal relationships. We are all about building personal relationships. As I said, we're 120 plus members right now. we want to build personal relationships with our members, and we want to build personal relationships among our members. Just for example, last night, I got an email from a CEO of a local company here, a German guy, a Swiss guy actually. He's a member of the Porsche Club here in Cincinnati. He says, hey, we used to do an event up at Bilstein when Fabian Schmal, who used to be the CEO up there, was there, but now we want to do it again, and Fabian's left, so can you help me? And I'm like, well, yeah, sure. So I sent a note to the new CEO, who of course I know, and I say, hey, is this okay? Do you mind having this introduction? He just reaches back to that CEO, the Swiss guy, and says, yeah, make it happen. Yeah, no worries. Here's my executive assistant. Those are the kind of relationships. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. The business is also really important, but the kind of connections that can do that makes those, especially those European expatriates who are new to this community, just so much more effective early in their jobs and helps them to achieve, which is a big win for all of us. So I'm going to stop with that. There's our website. There's my email address. And yeah, questions. Deborah, I love you. Mm-hmm. Sure. Two great questions. Just with regard to Brent Spence, I mean, just like getting the Paris flight restored, just like getting the London flight now launched, which I hope everybody's really excited about, transportation infrastructure is a huge issue. I think Brent Spence will only reinforce to those companies that come here that, yeah, we are working to be more connected. Companies don't come here necessarily or primarily because they're selling to Cincinnati-based companies or companies in this region. They're selling down to Alabama, they're selling up into Detroit and so forth. So being able to move product, even within, I mean, look at a company like Meyer Tool. I mean, they've got operations down by the airport, they've got operations, downtown. You've got to have that. So that's a huge boost for us and really important. And then with regard to the European, the environment, absolutely. We just signed on a new member called Malink. I don't know if any of you have heard about Malink, and they're based out in Milford. But one of the things that they want to do is to help us. We hear from a lot of European companies that go, our parent is telling us or is asking us, what's your contribution to our company's overall net zero strategy? And the European subs here are sometimes finding some difficulty in achieving those goals because there's just not as much of an emphasis here. So yeah, but European companies are being very innovative in this area. Look at L'Oreal, the largest single company solar panel installation in our region. And that's a great French company. Back at the red light table, yes. Depends on your level. What you got? You did well in this time. We could, yeah. Our top level, not to be coy. I mean, our top level is $25,000 a year. Our basic level is $1,000 a year. And we don't. I mean, it's all corporate memberships. We don't have individual memberships. We're not a social club. I mean, again, we have a lot of social activities, but it's for companies and organizations. So, sir.
So I was going to ask, do you get funding outside of your membership?
No.
Do you get funding from any government entities?
No. Thank you.
Cincinnati Chamber or anything else?
Great question. We do get some government funding, but it is not government funding in the way that you think. So the city of Blue Ash is a member of the European American Chamber of Commerce. The city of Hamilton is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, et cetera, et cetera. We have a number of governments that are members, but they just pay their membership dues like anybody else. We don't get money from any federal entities, state entities. We don't get any money from the Europeans, any of that kind of stuff. We are a member-led, member-funded operation that works to advance the interests of our members. That's really, really important to us. We don't do political lobbying. We're not out there, advocating for this or that. We may say some things about business immigration because that's really important, but not in a lobbying sense of trying to drive that. And we try to stay away from a lot of those issues because, again, they can become kind of hot button and that doesn't serve our members' needs.
The red light table seems to be hot with questions. Now, my question is, we all hear about the fact that there are 2 job openings for every person that is unemployed. Are you experiencing something similar in terms of your workforce?
100%, yeah. One of the, this thing that you'll hear in the same voice, in the same manner, is why robots are going to take our jobs. And why is this push for automation? What we see, particularly in our companies, is the implementation of cobots and robots, because it's not so that they can replace employees, it's so they can take employees away from the jobs that are dirty, dangerous, dull, and put them on jobs where they can actually add value. So you don't have to have an employee pick up the 2 receiver tubes at the Bilstein factory and move them over here. The robot does that. The employee does the quality control checks while that stuff is going on. So yeah, I mean, our companies are facing exactly the same kind of issues, and it's indeed, it's a little bit exacerbated because, again, a lot of our companies are coming here with advanced technologies. I mean, yes, they need a forklift driver, but they also need somebody that can run a multi-axe CNC machine, or they can program an additive manufacturing process. So, man, you guys are nuts. Did you seed this, folks? Did somebody seed them?
He's next.
Okay.
I spent 27 years in the international logistics business, and
Sure.
I'm curious if you encourage imports as much as you do exports.
Well, I wouldn't say that we encourage exports or imports either way. I mean, again, we're not a trade agency. We're not promoting it. We support it in both ways. I mean, if you think about it this way, I look at a company like, who's a good example? A lot of the companies that are importing stuff here, Modula. Modula is a good example. Modula is importing components from their factory in Italy and using those components to build machines here that are customized for the US market. So the US customer that's getting that product is getting a machine that's made in the United States with US labor, but that also includes US content, but most importantly, is customized to meet the demand of an American consumer. So, I mean, again, we support it both ways. I mean, I'm just for trade, I'm for more investment, I'm for more jobs. Sir, right in your face. You should hit him with it.
So when you calculate that 19th ranking in the MSA, is all of P&G's U.S. manufacturing included in that number, or is it strictly what constitutes the MSA?
It's the dollar value of the exports that are recorded out of this MSA to anywhere in the world. So, and I will say, I mean, you know, we can, in full transparency here, of course, it's not P&G, it's GE, because a jet engine is very expensive. Very expensive. So I mean, plus, I mean, P&G's not exporting Tide. So, because people will eat those little, you don't want that. So, I'll stop.
Hey, thank you very much, Todd.
I appreciate it.
Stay here for just a second.
That's right, I gotta get the gift.
You gotta get a little gift. Todd, thank you so much for sharing the insights on the EACC. I didn't realize just how rich a fabric we have of multinational companies, 250 companies, 38,000 jobs. Pretty great. You know that in Rotary we're about building goodwill and better friendships.
Hear, hear.
And I feel like business and trade is, you know, just a form of diplomacy, and your efforts are most appreciated in being a connector across, you know, the pond, so to speak. We really appreciate your presentation here today. We wanted to make a token of our appreciation. This is a Rotary Club of Cincinnati coin, and on the back is our boss's our four-way test. You know, we hold it near and dear. We also want to say thank you for your presentation by making a gift to the End Polio Now campaign. It's this close to ending polio, wild polio as we know it. It's a 4-decade effort, and there's just a handful of cases left. So we're hoping to be witness to the final push. Thanks again for your presentation. Let's give Todd Schwartz another round of applause. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Now, is this like a challenge coin? Is somebody going to say, hey, I need to see this, you're going to buy me a drink? Well, everybody here is going to ask you to show them that coin when you're buying them the drinks down there at the bar. So we have 2 committee meetings today. Board of Directors in the Julep Room on the 3rd floor, and the four-way test speech contest committee, Boardroom 3 on the mezzanine. Next week, remember, we're not at the Hilton, we're at the Phoenix. The Garfield Place garage is right behind the Phoenix. The details will be in the RSVP. Remember, Sarah told us that we have to RSVP by tomorrow. So don't miss out. Please attend. Look into your email. If you did not get an email, please notify the office and we'll make sure you do. If that fails, you can always log on to DACDB and sign up for a meeting directly there. Next week, we have our own Gary Walton, founder of the Cincinnati Type and Print Museum, but he's giving a presentation about Ben Franklin, the greatest founder of them all. So until then, can I get a hoo-day? Hoo-day, baby! We will see you here next week, or see you at the Phoenix next week.